Today on Around Town, the City of Cleveland held their 4th annual Ambassador Recognition Luncheon. We'll take you to the rotunda of Cleveland City Hall and put you in the front row of the ceremony. Then, an informational meeting was recently held, and TV20 cameras were there, bringing you everything you need to know about the 2020 census. We'll be right back with more Around Town.
Need food? We can help. The Greater Cleveland Food Bank's Benefits Outreach Department works within the community to help individuals locate food and apply for SNAP and other public benefits. Weekdays, our help center accepts phone calls from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and walk-ins from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 216-738-2067 or stop in our facility at 15500 South Waterloo Road. Our benefits outreach counselors are out in the community every day assisting with benefit enrollment and connecting the community to vital resources. Keep your eye out for our food truck, providing free, fresh produce and SNAP enrollment in the community. For more information, visit www.greaterclevelandfoodbank.org/gethelp.
Welcome back to Around Town.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kelly Smith, and I'm the Wellness Administrator for the Department of Human Resources. I would just like to welcome you to our 4th annual Wellness Ambassador Recognition Luncheon. Each year, we like to say thank you to our wellness ambassadors. The wellness ambassadors are a very important part of the wellness program. So today we are going to just give thanks that you are part of our program. So first up is our Assistant Director, DeAndre Benson.
Good afternoon, everybody. So every year we start out with different endeavors throughout the year centered around wellness, and those things cannot be accomplished without you as wellness ambassadors. So today's luncheon is an appreciation of the dedication and the hard work that you've done for us. So from the executive officers of HR, Chief Natoya Walker, who could not be present today, and Director Nicole West, we thank you very much, and we hope that we have continued success.
Elena Foster currently serves as Program Administrator of Veteran Services at Cuyahoga Community College's Eastern Campus. She holds a master's degree in Business Administration and Human Resources Management from Baldwin Wallace University and an associate's degree in Human Resources Management from Cuyahoga Community College. She's currently pursuing a doctorate in adult learning and leadership at John Roche Graduate Center at Kansas State University. Additionally, Elena serves as regional and institutional representative for the American Council on Education's Women's Network of Ohio. She was a fellow in the inaugural class of the Stokes Civic Leadership Institute through the Cleveland Leadership Center, a board member of the Solon, Ohio Community Impact Advisory Board, a board member for the Ohio Women Veterans Advisory Board in Columbus, Ohio, and is an honorably discharged United States Air Force veteran. Please welcome Elena Foster.
Well, I am here today to first say thank you for your service. I understand that this is part of a week-long celebration of you. So thank you so much for coming and allowing me to speak to you guys for a few moments. My presentation, which is titled Your Presence is a Gift, is really to talk to you about what you bring to the table and how you show up every day. So with that, I'm gonna give you a little bit of, again, background about myself. While you heard about my education accolades and the fact that I did honorably serve in the Air Force, I will tell you that I'm also the mother of 6 beautiful human beings, and my husband is an amazing, amazing man that I'm very happy to have met. Me sharing that with you, me sharing that with you is because I want to tell you about my life and what I've been kind of going through these last few months. In May of 2019, my husband suffered a heart attack and had to have a pacemaker inserted. And it kind of tore at him because he was the provider to this 8-individual family, and with that, he was no longer able to work. He's a master plumber, and he was no longer able to work because it was just a lot of stress on him. So he's been home for the last 6 months, and that's been fun because him being home required him to be there with those kids and get to know all of us a little more. And in doing so, I have a much more pleasant husband. And I didn't realize it until this incident happened that we were missing out on him a bit. He became a part of the kids' sports activities and homework and cooking all the meals and getting the kids ready for school the next day. Ladies, the mothers out there, you understand why there's a smile on my face. And you fathers too. Okay, all right, I'll give you some credit. But we got more of him. And that made me realize that all of it happened because of how I showed up, because of the person that I am and the support that I was able to provide and not allowing him to stay in a depressive state, because he wanted to do that, because he had lost this identity that he had for the last 30 or so years. He wanted to, lay in the bed and dig in this hole and become this person who would not have been the joy that I see every morning. And that is what I offer to you. When you think about how you show up to the world as wellness ambassadors, how you show up in your workplace, you have to take 3 things into consideration. And these are the 3 steps that I really want to leave you with. The first thing is, when you wake up in the morning, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and you have to say that I've awoken again for a purpose. As many of us realize with the events that happened this past weekend, that everyone doesn't get the opportunity to do that. And we're not gonna go too far into that because I don't want anyone to start crying, but it is a sad, tragic reality that happened. So we don't always get that opportunity to wake up with purpose. So when you do, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, thank you to whomever. For me, thank you, Lord, for another day of purpose. Step number 2, walk into the world with intention. Be intentional about how you show up. Be intentional about the things that you say and the things that you do and the choices that you make, because your words have power, okay? And you never, ever know how you're gonna impact another person. I wanna share with you something that happened to me on Friday, just this past Friday, and this was not even a part of what I had planned to speak to you about, but it was so amazing. I received an email from a young lady who works with me. And I've been at Tri-C for, since 2011, for 8 years. I've been at Tri-C, and I must have encountered this woman 4 times during the entire 8 years that I've been there. She sent me an email and she said, Elena, are you in the office? Because I need to speak to you about something. And I wasn't in the office. I told her that she could give me a call back. She could call me on my cell phone, which she didn't have because we'd only spoken 4 times. But I gave her the number. And I told her that she could call me on my cell around 7, and she did. And she said, Elena, I just wanted to share with you that I have some new jewelry. And I said, oh, I'm thinking, you selling jewelry? You want me to buy some jewelry? Okay, I'll look at it on Monday. She said, no, my boyfriend proposed to me, and I wanted to share that with you. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I'm so excited for you. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go into planning mode. There's this event that's happening at the IX Center, and you can be a part of that, and I can't wait to see your pictures and all of those great things. And she says, yes, I'm so excited about it. I really wanted you to know. And it got me to thinking after I got off the phone with her, that something that I did impacted her in such a way where she wanted to share this big, phenomenal moment, event that happened to her with me. So that speaks to step one and step two, that when I wake up in the morning, I know that it's for a purpose. And when I step out into the world, I'm intentional about the conversations and the relationships that I build and have with individuals, because you don't know how you're going to impact another person, right? And so finally, with that is step three. And step three involves when you get back home. When you get back home, don't get out the car and run into the house and take your work clothes off and put on your PJs and sit around and love up on your family, your cats and your dogs. Sit in the car for a second and reflect. Reflect on how you chose to show up in that day, because then you'll realize that your presence is truly a gift. That, my dears, is really what I had to say to you. That's really the presentation that I have for you today. I was planning on doing a big PowerPoint presentation and telling you about all the wonderful books that exist out there and share with you all of the readings that I have read and the things that are also going on to impact who I am as an individual. But I really think that it boils down to those three things. You know, you have purpose, live with intention, and take a moment to reflect on who you are and how you show up, and you'll be just fine. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that with you for these few moments. I'm sorry if I didn't use up all the time that you guys wanted me to use, but it really boils down to those three things. I also want to thank you again for allowing me to speak to you, and I hope you guys enjoy the remainder of this week. So thank you.
So I would like to thank Elena for coming today. That was a beautiful speech, thank you. And that was what we needed to hear, to make sure that you understand what your purpose is in life and how you can affect others with your purpose. So we just want to say thank you to all of our wellness ambassadors. They're bringing out dessert for you guys this afternoon, so enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and thank you for coming to our wellness event.
We'll be right back with more Around Town. Welcome back to Around Town.
I'm glad to be with you here today, but there are people who are afraid of this census. There are individuals who have just been re-entered back into society. There are individuals who have warrants on their lives, who are driving, looking through their rearview mirrors rather than looking in the front, hoping they do not get stopped by the police. And this census, to many of them, is a deterrent to them being registered. Why? Because of the fact that they think that the government is going to pick them up, take them away, and they won't be able to be out here in society again. Those are the fears that we have to dispense with. Those are the fears that we've got to tell them they don't have to worry about. If they already have a cell phone, they already know where they are. And most people don't realize that the government knows where you are. Even if you have an Obama phone, they know where you are. And we've got to be able to reach them, and we've got to hire those individuals, Rector, who are former felons, who are felons that have records, so that we can get them to reach those individuals who have fear in this community. Why? Because this country right now is divided more than it has ever been before. And I'm working with the faith-based coalition in this city as well as throughout this county. And we're trying to let not only pastors know, but rabbis know, imams know, congregations know that from all areas we must come together so that we can be counted, that each individual represents a dollar amount so that we can get it right back in this county, and that it will not always be going to consultants or executives, but that it will go to individuals who need their food day and night, individuals who need hospitalization, individuals who need medical concerns taken care of in this community. And we need it back in this community. This morning, I heard, and I've heard more announcements about the census in the last 3 days, and my eyes have truly been opened. I saw Ms. Pomerantz on the television screen being introduced and being interviewed, but they were talking about opening an Akron office. I didn't hear them talking about opening the Cleveland office. We are open now. Our people can be contacted. People will be working, and we need to make sure that we get that message out to them, that they don't have to be afraid, and if they don't want to fill out a form, go on your phone. Fill out the form, because it is important that we bring these resources back to Cuyahoga County and that everyone in Cuyahoga County is counted. Thank you very much.
So over the course of the past 12 months, I've had a pleasure of meeting so many wonderful people and learn about their work, their organizations, their civic engagement. And before I introduce our next speaker, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you for all your support from day one, for all that you've been doing so far and that you're continuing to do with us. It's really difficult not to mention everybody, but Freddie, thank you for your leadership. Pam, thank you. Kevin, Simeon, no wonder your last name is Best. Michelle, thank you. And I'm sorry, I don't want to, each one of you, you know me, we know each other. Thank you so much for this. Now, my last guest speaker, and surely not the least, because she was actually my first big accomplishment when we partnered with United Way, is Ann Pelopelli from the United Way of Greater Cleveland. Thanks, Nada. As she said, we connected over almost a year ago. And, United Way, there are 1,200 United Ways across the country. We have representation in every congressional district in the United States. So across the country, United Ways are engaged in the census. So we're competing with every other community to get a complete count, which is how those population-based funding is distributed. So it's really important that we excel and get 100% because everybody else is doing the same thing. And we all know what our stats here are. In United Way, we're all about the safety net and protecting that safety net, which is much needed in our community. Because last year, our 211 navigators who take calls from folks in the community who need help with social services, we helped over 200,000 callers in 2019. And more than half were seeking utility assistance, affordable housing, and food assistance. Those were the top three, followed closely by access to health and mental health care, legal and consumer advice, and education and employment supports. So we know firsthand how much there's a need out there in our community. And we also know how hard it is to raise philanthropic dollars for our programs and services. And the funding, the federal funding that impacts state funding is over 70% of the Health and Human Service funding here. The Health and Human Service levy is certainly very important that we all need to vote for in the next election. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but you know, the federal money is just so important, so we need to do that. So I've had the privilege of serving with the county's Complete Count Committee as the co-chair for the hospitals. And the hospitals, you know, they're a trusted voice. Most people, I hope, trust their healthcare provider. So we've been working with them to get them on the same page. We just had a call an hour ago at 1 o'clock. We're sharing resources, coming up with different ideas of way to impact. UH at their MLK Day on Monday, they passed out little cuties and said, count your cuties, and they were in the lobby and they were like accosting people walking through and giving them, and they passed out, and she said it only cost us $40 in cuties, and we had long conversations with folks, and so that's just an example of some of the things that are happening. You know, the procrastination curve always gets people where, you know, everybody's working at the last minute. They're sharing how they approach their leadership to get budgets to do this, which it doesn't take, we're learning it's not a lot of money, it's more about the people. It's, you know, it's just talking to folks and getting them trusted voices to tell them that they need to complete the census. So, you know, in United Way, we've had NADA come out and speak to our agencies at different convenings that we've had, because those organizations are the ones who serve the hard to count directly. And so they're engaged. We are sending out information to all of our 1,100 workplace campaigns to get those businesses to tell their employees to respond. We're going to have our 211 callers will be talking to folks about it when they call in the next couple of months. So we're doing everything we can here, and if anybody has any other ideas of how we can help, we'd be more than happy to hear about it. So we're just privileged to help, and we'll continue to keep plugging away and get everybody counted. Thank you.
Thank you, Nada, and thank you to our partners of the 2020 census. We appreciate you taking that time today to speak with us. As I mentioned, we cannot complete our operation without your support, the passion that you're bringing to the operation of the 2020 census, and the contributions from across the city of Cleveland and Cuyahoga County. Our operations are built upon the partnerships and recruiting efforts undertaken by all of you. You are a critical component to what the staff of the Cleveland Area Census Office and I will undertake in these upcoming weeks as we make CLE count and as we work together to shape our future. I thank you for taking the time again out of your busy schedules to join us today in celebration of the opening of the Cleveland Area Census Office. At this time, if today's speakers or representatives may be available for conversation, we also have some things out in the lobby for you as you leave. But again, thank you for attending and participating in today's event.
For more information on the census, visit 2020census.gov. Thank you for watching Around Town on TV 20. We are Cleveland.